Hi everybody, this is Debbie from the Inspiration Station. Thank you for joining me again today. For today's video, I will be working on some birthday pictures from my granddaughter's second birthday. You can see them here. The theme for the birthday was that she is too cute, TWO, but the O has been replaced by a donut. So I wanted to use the donuts on the page for the embellishments. I found that this color vibe from Simple Stories cardstock was a perfect color palette, and I chose this sketch from Page Maps. It's from their March 2026 Page Map release. So I went through some of my stash and I found that Simple Stories had a line a couple of years ago called Celebrate that I had, and the colors worked perfectly. I also had these letters left over from a previous project. They're also from Simple Stories, but it was one of their crafty lines from a couple of years ago. And her name is Ariella, so we call her Ari, and I had just enough letters there to spell her name out in pink. I created these donuts. The ones you saw first were print and cut on my Cricut, and these were from the same file that I purchased off Etsy, and it had the print and cut donuts, and it had these SVG files to cut the donuts. So I cut those out and inked the edges of the brown donut before putting the frosting on. You can see here I've already moved on to putting some of the paper down. That yellow paper there is the largest background piece on the sketch, and I wanted that because there are yellow balloons in the pictures, and obviously there's a ton of pink, and I kind of wanted to move away from the pink. On the sketch there are also a couple of tags, one regular and one large size. So the one with the lavender top is a tag from Simple Stories, one of their spring lines. The one behind it, I used a template and cut out a bigger one. The paper was from Simple Stories, but it was an old beach line, but it had that kind of mint green color that is in some of the decorations, so I wanted to bring that in a little bit more. Also on the sketch is this border, this, what do you call it? It's like an eyelet, I guess, and I cut that out of a purple cardstock. Now these are all the donuts that I was using from the print and cut. I had that number 2 there. I wasn't sure where I was going to use it, but we'll get back to that in a minute. And I just went through and made this grid of donuts on the page following the sketch. They had circular elements on the sketch. I think I used the same number. I think they had five rows and 4 columns. But I varied the sizes, and some of those donuts had bites taken out of them. Some of them were on their side. I just thought it helped to mix them up a little bit. So I'm going to glue down this. I made sort of a unit of the photos and the tags and the background paper so it didn't slide all over the place. And I'm going to glue that down where I want it. I will then come in with this border. That was a die that I used. I believe it was an old My Favorite Things die. It was a 6-inch long die, but I just ran it through twice, lined it up so I had a little bit longer than that. And I'm using some 1/8 inch tape to glue that down. It fit just perfectly. So I'm going to stick that down onto the page, kind of line it up with the photos above. There we go. And actually I was surprised it came out as straight as it did. I got that one on there, and then I'm going to use that cut apart card that I have, and the letters, the ARI, I'm going to use where they had the title on the page. Now this is that number 2. I decided I was going to pop it up with foam tape, so I'm using those thin foam strips from scrapbook.com. I still haven't decided where that number 2 is going to go though. I kind of played around with a few different placements on it, but I just put the foam tape on to kind of get an idea of what it would look like sticking up. I thought about putting it on top of those donuts, but I really didn't think that it was going to show up very well. So this is the cut apart that I wanted to use, and I'm trying to strategically place it because there's a couple of navy blue dots on there, and I really did not want the navy blue added to the page. It kind of stuck out to me. There's no navy blue anywhere else. So I did trim it down a little bit on both top and bottom. There's still a couple of the navy blue dots, but I'm going to fix that in a little bit. You'll see what I do with that. So we'll get that down, and then we're going to bring in the letters. And once again, I decided to use foam tape to raise them up. I'm not going to make you watch me put the foam tape on all of them, but I did want them to be up a little bit higher than the rest of the journal card. So we'll get those down, and then I went to my stash, and I need twine. I have those 2 tags at the top that need some twine, and at the bottom of the yellow panel there was twine in the sketch. So I had these Easter colors. I think this came from Hobby Lobby, and I decided to use the lavender at the top to bring the purple up and the green down at the bottom, just to kind of spread the color around. I'm going to get that tied on. Thankfully, the ATG, even though it's permanent, as long as I don't press it down hard, I can still lift it for a short period of time. So I was able to lift that up to get the twine wrapped around. And I'm going to try and tie a bow. It is not the easiest thing in the world, especially with this baker's twine that kind of unravels when you cut it. I did go after the video and put a little bit of white glue on the ends so that they wouldn't come undone. There we go. I also decided I would put some glue on the actual knot. You'll see that in a minute. So I decided that 2 is going to go down there at the bottom of the page because it just didn't show up on top of the donuts. I'm going to put the twine up in the tags. Now, question. When you put your twine on, do you bring that loop from the back to the front or the front to the back? Because I never know which way it's supposed to go or which way looks better. So in this case, I did it from the back and pulled it to the front. I think it looks okay, but I always wonder how other people do it. So leave a comment down below and let me know. Do you do back to front or front to back? So moving on, we will get that number 2 stuck down. And then as I'm looking at the page, I'm thinking that these donuts look a little flat. So I'm going to take the extras that I have, a few of them, and put foam tape on them so that I can raise them up. I think it needed it. It needed some weight over there. And these donuts I wasn't planning on using on this page. I actually am making a complimentary page with the photos of her family, and that's what I created all of these cut files for. They were supposed to be for the next page, but once I laid those 2 donuts with the pink icing on them on there, I thought, you know what, this looks pretty good. This turned out to be a problem. I was gluing these down, and I've never used this glue before, and it was so sticky that it stuck my fingers together. It stuck my tweezers together. I was just struggling so badly with it. I couldn't believe how sticky this glue was. But I did have this, the best cleaner ever. It's by Scrap Perfect, and it's a non-toxic solvent. It works great to take sticky stuff off. It works great for taking paint off of things. I've actually used it on my tile floor when I've had like those black streaks from, I had a ladder or something that got pulled across the floor and left this big black streak, and it took that off perfectly. So it's a great product. If you get a chance to pick that up, I would recommend it. So I decided that that donut with the white icing was going to be overkill. I think it was too much. But I am putting the donuts with the pink icing on. I'm going to put some foam on the back of the one that will go on top, just so that it levels it out, because there are several layers of cardstock there. And I will put that number 2 down. And I think at that point, I'm almost done. I'm not sure if I've gone in and done the foam tape on the donuts yet. Oh yeah, I wanted to glue down that bow so it doesn't move around, and had to be very careful with that glue, because like I said, it's super sticky, and I didn't want to use my finger there, so I'm using the tweezer and a paper towel to get the extra up, because I wasn't taking any chances. We'll take the backing off this foam. We'll get that down, and I think I did go back. I think this is before I put the foam on the little donuts and raised them up. So we'll get that stuck down, and oh yeah, these guys too. I was struggling with my adhesive, as I always do. My ATG, for some reason, I don't think I hold it in the right position, because oftentimes it just doesn't come off. See, it didn't even attach. It just kind of rolls itself back up onto the tape. and I think it has to do with, user error, but anyway, we'll get those down. Okay, so, oh yeah, you can see here, I'm trying to show you the dimension where I put some of the donuts on. I did it pretty randomly. And then in order to cover up those navy blue dots, I took some of those tiny hearts I had made for the white donut and just covered up the blue dots and a couple of others. So I thought it looked really cute. Anyway, here's the final page. I hope you enjoy it. I am making a companion page to it, so I hope you have a chance to watch that in the future. Thank you for joining me, and please like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Take care.